now beaming into Nerd FT Radio.
This is Nerd FT Radio, where nerds full-time, explorers of the metaverse, surfers of the blockchain, and not in our mom's basement. I'm your host, RSG, aka the Pokemon Shiny Hunter, and I'm here with Crypto Crier, aka the 50 BPS guy. Don't have no idea what that means, but we have a very special guest today with us here, Mitchell. And this is going to be a long list of things because he wears a lot of hats here. He is the brand and digital strategist at Concept Labs. I said it right.
Yes,
got it. Head of socials at Devour. Formerly ran socials at Overtime, the gaming side of Overtime. Plus, he is a freelance content writer for a very successful YouTuber. Mitchell, I think I crushed that intro.
I think you did a great job.
All right, we're good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing phenomenal. That was a mouthful of... That was great. That was great. You do a lot of stuff, and we're excited to have you. Obviously, for the listeners, you read that list, you listen to that list, you know exactly why he's on Nerd FT Radio, because just like us, he is a nerd, and that's why he is on the show. Tell us a little bit about you, and then we can go straight into all the things that we got you here for. So let's go ahead.
For sure. So I started my journey in esports in 2019. So I joined this little gaming organization. It was called Devour. It had 5,000 followers on Instagram. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Let me figure out what I can do. And then I started kind of working my way up there. Eventually grew that Instagram to 200,000 followers, then transitioned to Twitter, grew that Twitter to 70,000 followers, and then jumped around. I then jumped to Overtime, which is a sports conglomerate. They have around 30 million followers, and I was running their gaming side where they had about 1 million followers on all their socials, and I helped run their Twitter. I then transitioned over to YouTube. I worked with a bunch of different YouTubers, topped out at the second biggest YouTuber at the time. They were pulling 2.5 billion views a month. I then found NFTs in Web3 and kind of went down that rabbit hole. And I'm now at Concept Labs doing Web3 strategy and helping out all of their partners there. And Concept Labs has been around for 15 years. They've worked with every video game under the sun pretty much. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Valorant, League of Legends, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, blah, blah, blah. Everything.
So my childhood. Yeah. Got it. So
pretty much.
Entire childhood.
Every day I find a new game and it's like, how did they work on this? I played this through middle school.
Through the whole thing. All right, that's good to know. Now we know the people behind everything that have made me just spend a crap ton of money on everything that I have right behind me. So thank you so much. But hey, you did mention a little bit on the sense of like how the journey from obviously the Web 2 side of things, then transition into Web 3. Before getting into it, like what you're doing now and whatnot, were you in crypto? Were you into NFTs? Like how was it that you got onto this side of things? Or was it something completely like out of nowhere?
Sure. So I always thought crypto was scary up until last summer. And I had somebody kind of contact me and were like, we want you to talk about baby mini Doge, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea what the coin was, but they wanted me to talk about it on my Twitter. And I was like, what's this? And they were like, we'll pay you $500. So that was my first introduction into crypto, is I was trying to figure out what the hell that even meant.
Yeah.
And this was me. I had 10,000 gaming followers. I had no idea what I was doing. And then I did that. And from there, I found NFTs and just spiraled. Kind of crazy. And
down the rabbit hole.
Yep. Went way down there.
And it made more sense on the NFT side for you than the crypto side.
Yeah.
Correct?
I still barely... I understand the basics of crypto, but I don't trade shitcoins or anything like that. That kind of all went over my head, and I just jumped straight into NFTs, and I spend a lot of time with doodles and a lot of fun over there.
So you're like me. This guy Crier over here, he's a baller in the crypto side. I'm like, I like these weird little doodles. I like these cool cats. I like these apes. I can trade picture in picture, but on the crypto side, still a little scary as well. But it's definitely awesome to see. And again, let me ask you this. From your childhood, again, you played video games, card games, the whole nine. Do you believe that all of that, I'm going to call it experience because it is experience and literally just learning, that allowed you to understand NFTs how it is now because of all of that experience that you had prior, correct?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it built up to what I do now, because now I'm literally running strategy for a bunch of these really huge projects. And I think a lot of my knowledge comes from a bunch of the stuff I've done. Growing up, I was always super interested in film and understanding how to tell a story And I think that now helps me. I do a lot of marketing work and learning how to tell a story and tell people what they want to hear and how they want to hear it and in what order. I really learned when I was a kid from taking a lot of film classes, and awesome. I use that today.
No, absolutely. Listen, Crier, we literally talked about this the other day where all these projects, at least on the profile picture aspect of things, when I look at them, it's the founder of Solana said, this big boom of NFTs and these PFP projects are going to be the next entertainment for the next 40, 50, 60, 70 years. But the thing that's missing from these profile picture projects is the character development, is the storytelling behind it. The true reason why you see all these Marvel stuff behind me is because of the stories behind the characters, not just because it looks cool. It has to have some meaning behind it. And when you're telling me on the sense of what you studied and these film classes and all this, you understand the value of needing that lore, needing that character development, needing a way to like and be a part of that character. Like I can see myself being that character, or like things about it.
It can't be one dimensional.
It relates. Exactly.
Most of the stuff in this space is super one dimensional.
Very
currently,
one-dimensional.
It's just a picture. It's just this. So there's nothing that's gives you the entire arc of why we're even here or doing these things. Yeah, a lot of these things are trying to. They made their profile picture and now they're trying to go back and make some lore, make something.
Yeah, and everything with that sort of aspect, it takes forever because they're trying to backtrack. So they'll have, like, for example, Yuga Labs, they'll have the trial of Jimmy the Monkey or whatever was on their roadmap. And now they're like, what, a year and 9 months into their project. And then now they're like getting to who this guy actually is. So I think it's a lot of stuff like that where I think you'll start to see projects do that earlier on. So you're more of a fan of the people who are in the project versus discovering it and being like along for the ride pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say it is cool to be a part of it like this way because you get to see it and whatnot. You can maybe even be a part of the lore, said PFPs and things like that also.
Like Jenkins and Valet style, or
Jenkins and Valet, or maybe even like cool. Listen, on the Cool Cat side, they're making the next comic. I like if I won, I didn't win because I suck. But you can be in the comic, like you're a Cool Cat or whatever you own. The NFT that you own could be in that comic, so like you can be embedded into the lore of said project and whatnot. When you look at Bored Apes, again, I will say that they have some lore. The lore of the sense of like why they're Bored Apes and what they're doing. They were crypto traders. They became super rich, and now they're just bored. And now they were like, hey, let's just all come together and be bored together on a yacht club, or pretty much on a yacht club. So there is some lore, but there are others when you look at other projects and you're like, what the heck's going on? One of them, again, Cool Cats, they have their first comic was like cool and all, but like they're talking about a fish. What the heck? I need to know what the heck this blue cat is. I need to know what's going on. When you look at Gutter, they make these comics and I'm like, this is really bad. Like I need more. I need something that like pulls.
There's no cohesion. There's just there's this thing. There's a bunch of projects like Pixel Vault. They have a billion different things. Nobody has any idea what's going on there.
Can listen? I have to just in the camera say that because you just said a great thing. Because my co-host of my spaces, a Talk 3 Much Cena, very big person.
I know him well.
Pixel Vault. Just say it one more time if you'd like, or I can say it. Pixel Vault has no idea where they're going because there's so much stuff going on. And he's like, oh, this is the next Marvel. And I'm like, to me, that doesn't look like the next Marvel, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And my team over at Concept Art House actually did the art for their most recent drop. So I got to talk to their team and I thought it was pretty interesting kind of hearing all the different pieces. But as an outside consumer, I have no idea what was going on. And we left that meeting and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, everyone else had just no clue, which I think is not a problem just for them. I think that's a problem in the whole space. Even like a simpler project like Doodles, there's still people who have no idea what a box means. Like it's a floating box. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that. I think just has people focusing within teams on the wrong things. And I think there's a lot of room for growth and kind of the like inner project storytelling aspect and figuring out how consumers and how to get people in that kind of understand what's going on with the project holistically and not just at a like very superficial level.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We've definitely seen that multiple times on multiple things. We actually did, who was that one? Metaverse, what was it called? Metropolis? What was it?
Metropolis. Yeah.
So they started with their whole thing with the reason they had started their entire project was the fact that all they've seen is here's land, buy land and make your own stuff and do this stuff. No one wants to do that. People want to enjoy and have entertainment presented to them. Some people want to build their own things, but I would say generally people like, why we play games. Why are you playing Elden Ring? Why are you playing God of War? It's because they have an insanely good storyline that you can experience, right? And why do we go to these movies? Is because there is already that stuff there. Yeah, we've definitely have all these. Here's the tools and go build something, but it's definitely not. That's not there, and we need people to realize that.
For sure.
I still don't know how people play Elden Ring. It's so hard. I don't like. You just chuck me into a world, and I go west when I should have went east, and it's been 50 minutes, and I have no idea where the hell I am. But I just wanted to state that. But you did mention that you're you're a holder of doodles, correct?
Yeah, I've had doodles since October of last year.
Since October? All right, awesome. Again, myself, Crier, most of the NRN gang, we were there for a long time. We were actually there before the Discord got locked. It was an open Discord, the whole nine, and we've seen it. And we've been at all these all of these events for them. And again, from the looks of it, at least in the in real life aspect of it, they've just done a phenomenal job on the sense of South by Southwest, as well as what they just did at Art Basel, where you just are like you're in the doodle ecosystem. Like you feel like you're a part of what they're trying to build. And that's where I believe a lot of these projects were lacking. Another project, again, going back to I've talked like 3 times about Cool Cats today. I promise you I don't talk about it all the time. But in New York, they did a very great job. Crier, you can attest to it. In New York, phenomenal job on that sense. Or the other one I always talk about is Deadfellas, where in New York, they made it a sense where it was a part that's like the curveball of everything. They made a party, but you felt like you were in Deadfellas zone. And on top of that, you were able to network because they had places outside, on the back, whatever. So that was really cool on that sense. But when you look at these in real life events that it looks like you've been a part of as well, you've been going to them also.
I was in Miami. So I have this still.
Bam.
Bam!
Yeah.
I got it too.
Mine's in the other room.
Get in the other room. Then we're good. Yeah. You got it? What do you got? You got a ball. All right. We're good.
I have a sculpture thing too.
Nailed it.
From a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah.
Now we're just all showing off.
We got everything. We're just showing off doodles. Hold up. I can point right here as well. I got the same one as you, right? I can't point. I'm sorry.
I see it.
But when you go into these events, are you happy with these events, or are they wasting their time at these events?
So I was in Art Basel, and I think a lot of the events missed the mark. But Doodles was like so cool. Like I golfed twice. Yeah. It was like it felt like it was a year long. Like immersive and was always there. Like it didn't feel like they scrapped it together for a weekend. A lot of these other ones felt like you were just like at a party that they planned last minute. Maybe they paid someone a couple $1,000s to make sure the tickets didn't get all like clogged up. But Doodles felt like it was like every little detail was taken care of. Yeah. Like on the little things, the phones that they scanned like the tickets with, they were like Doodle branded. Yep. Yeah, like they like everything. Like they sold pins. And on the back of the pin, like the little plastic piece that you never look at, there was like a little Doodle logo on it. Like they literally thought I don't know who they hired, but they thought of like everything.
After the show, I got to go look at mine because I got those. So we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But no, I definitely agree where we witnessed that as well in South by Southwest. It was just the opportunity to immerse yourself into this ecosystem. And they did such a well job at it where you look at all these other projects. I will say Gutter as well did a phenomenal job at Art Basel as well. Unfortunately, they weren't there this time, but no shade on that side, even though I wanted to be at the outpost. But no, I definitely agree where sometimes you feel like these events, you can tell they go all out. They're trying to get you into the ecosystem, but there's others, like you said, that let's just buy this place where we can just have holders and hold them there and give them drinks and make them pay $4 for a water. Cool things cats. Like that. But yeah, cool cats. But yeah, no, I definitely agree on that side of things where this is, but let me ask you, do you think that this is necessary?
I think there's like a balance. There's not like your project's going to zero if you don't do it. But I think it helps overall with holder sentiment and like market sentiment too, because it shows that you can do something sick and never going to be more than a little profile picture if you can't figure out how to do something sick. And I think it really fits with Doodle's ethos. I think the reason why they dropped a couple $1 million on this is like their whole thing is they want to like color the world. And my kind of understanding of the Doodle Putt event was that was a trial run for some permanent
bigger.
activation in LA is what I've heard.
Oh,
I heard
I don't
Miami.
know.
Burnt Toast had said that it was mostly more likely going to be placed in Miami.
Maybe. I don't know. I've
That's
heard
their
both.
headquarters.
I saw something about LA this morning.
Maybe 2 places, maybe 3, maybe 4. Who knows? They're going to be all
We'll
over the
see.
place. I always say, and this is what Tiger Woods has been doing it, and it's like his new putt where like Top Golf, Drive Shack, all these people are doing like these golf things, but like why aren't they focusing on like the easier game that literally everyone can play? I just think Doodles on this side of things could do something super special. And if they go into these locations, like you said, LA, Miami, maybe somewhere in Canada, maybe anywhere else
Like
in the world, they can
Vancouver, New
truly
York,
Vancouver, New York, they can do something.
areas.
They can do something super special, and the question of what the heck is a doodle could be answered because of these types of things and whatnot that's going on. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was super awesome just to be a part of it. I was able to golf as well. Almost won a freaking doodle. Hit the brick to the right of the thing,
Damn.
of the doodle. Hit the side of it. Boom. I actually am the reigning champion at NRN. I had the lowest score. Just have to say that. By 1. I beat Crier by 1. But still, reigning champ. Hit a hole in one as well on the first one. Wish it was the last one, but again, it was just super cool to see. And I will say, and this is something myself and Crier say all the time, these projects, if they want to be successful for mass adoption and people want a known brand in the space, in the world, South by Southwest, Art Basel are the way to go, not an NFT NYC, NFT LA, because you're just allowing like the NFT people to go to these events. But if you go to South by Southwest,
expanding
Art
your
Basel,
market.
you're not expanding because you're just going towards your holders, which is not a bad thing. But if we want to build this into a brand that lives and breathes and does everything like a Pokemon, like a Marvel, like a DC, like whatever, you need to have it so that everyone can do it. And by the way, any project that's not doing a +1, get the fuck out of here. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
+6, like I had. But yeah,
Give me a
so
+6.
we talked about Doodles a little bit. We talked about some of the other projects around here, but I really wanted to talk about just Web3 gaming and that kind of stuff because that's more your background. And my really thought process here is we've seen how games have been going in general. We've seen more like free games with a bunch of get you hooked first and then we'll drain your wallet of all of this money by little tiny activations and stuff like that. And now with Web3 kind of movements, we've seen more of a play to earn where you kind of have to put your money up front first. What are your thought processes on, and just thoughts and opinions on what do you think these will do for the future, and anything positive, negative on your side?
Sure. I think first off, play to earn as a term is one, like an overused buzzword, and two, associated 100%. With a scam. So I think most people, they see that, they're like, how the hell am I earning? Where's that money coming from? And there's a gap there. And I think kind of the future of Web3 gaming is like play to have fun. And then if you're earning more tokens, isn't the right word because it's not like a coin. It's more like something you could resell. Think of it like you get a free Fortnite skin and then you can resell the Fortnite skin. That's
digital
where you're
collectible.
Earning. Digital collectible. There you go.
Journey stamp.
Yes. So something like that you can resell and has resell value, I think is where gaming goes, and not something where you're earning a token by completing runs or something like that. It just, every token looks like this and then it goes like that and then it goes to zero.
Dies to the ground.
So there's no reason to have, it doesn't make sense with a game.
Cool Cat's here if you like RSG.
Yes, this literally happened with milk. I told everyone, grab that milk and sell it right away. That was probably the only big play I had last year. So I told you guys.
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff like that. And it's just games right now aren't focusing on having fun. And the whole thing with games is you need people to like have fun to be able to play it for more than a couple minutes.
No, I 110% agree.
Yeah. So I think that's where you're going to have games soon coming out. They have a big team that's very successful. Limit Break from Digidaigu. Those people. Yeah, I can't even say it.
Digidaigu or whatever.
I told you it was hard. I always
I didn't say it wasn't hard. It's a tough one.
I knew it. It's not just me.
But
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So those two are pretty good. And then also I'm working with Mama Guru, which is a project backed by Disney and Pixar and a couple other larger names. And they're coming out with a game along with a couple other things that I can't talk about, but it's a cool project and there's not a lot of info out about it.
Listen, if you go outside my house right here, you can hear the Disney fireworks. If you need me to go find someone at Disney to be like, yo, what's going on? I can do that. But no, that's super cool to hear. And your thought process of this play to earn, 100% is a buzzword, and the sense of like where gaming should be going towards, again, 100% what you said. It's more the sense of a digital collectible, an opportunity, but the main factor of it all is fun. And if it feels like a job, it's not.
It's not
It's
a
gonna
game.
die. Yeah,
It's gonna die
Yeah.
unless you're playing RuneScape and you're hacking out wood all day long like I did. But besides the point, had to mention RuneScape one time.
Of course. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that stuff. We've seen a couple of games recently. Alluvium came out. We saw that we're a little bit more of there is actual graphics and there's actually
the graphics are pretty nice.
I like the Alluvium looks cool.
Looks
yeah,
very
I definitely
cool.
agree. Yeah,
Looks
it looked like cool. I had been on the side of it's an auto battler. What are we going to actually accomplish here? But yeah, I've seen some of the actual gameplay videos. It actually looks pretty interesting. So I'm pretty excited to see a little bit more in depth on that. But what are some other like crossovers in terms of companies that you've been seeing? Like I know you've worked with a whole bunch of different companies. Do you see a lot of these larger studios coming into this side soon, or is it something that we're still far away?
I think it's a matter of first movers and if they work. So I think Mama Guru, even though right now it's still a little bit under the radar, it has these big backers. And if it work, when it works, I think you're going to see a bunch more people come into the space because they're just waiting for somebody to come in and be successful, especially in the bear market. It's just hard for people in these huge companies to justify spending millions of dollars on this kind of unknown space, and they don't really know what's going on. But if they see, oh wow, this company is doing all these crazy things in this new space and they're successful with it, I think you'll see more people follow. But it's really getting that sort of first mover
rolling.
Yeah, for sure. And that could even be something like Alluvium. It really just needs to just be a hit, and then people come flocking.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, man. And you said you worked for Concept as your mostly your Web3 positioning here?
Yeah, so Concept Labs is my full-time job. Everything else is like a side thing I'll do on weekends.
Gotcha. What you've said, are they working on anything specifically in the Web3 space right now, or is it mostly just something you can't talk about? Or
Sure. So one thing that we're doing right now is this Mama Guru project that I keep talking about. So we, one, did the art, and then two, we just did this activation called 12 Days of Momo, 12daysofmomo.com, where you basically have an advent calendar and you can go through the advent calendar to get whitelist spots. And it's pretty cool. It's like this 3D thing that you can rotate around and see all the different elements from this Mama Guru game. And it's just very interactive and smooth, and it looks cool, and I'm very happy how it turned out. We had a bunch of bugs with Twitter API, and we're using it as a pilot, but that's one thing we did. We do a lot of art, as I said, and we worked with Pixel Vault on their recent launch, done some art for Azure Games, which is a game backed by A16Z. They have a bunch of money and funding. But my side, I do a lot of stuff back end that I can't really talk about, but front end, definitely that 12 Days of Momo thing was pretty exciting, and very happy how it turned out. I think there's
I've actually seen that a couple times today.
Just
today. So.
There's 90,000 entries on that forum, which is like bonkers numbers, especially for right now. I don't know where those 90,000 people
find
came
that
from.
list. That can be 90,001.
90,001.
No idea what's going
Already
on.
Doing it right now.
Yeah.
Already doing it.
But yeah, in terms of this actual game, so the Momo game, was it Momo Guru, you say?
Yes.
Momo Guru. What genre of game is this? What are we expecting here?
So it's a RPG. So it's just like big open space. And I think I can't really talk that much about it. A lot of it's on their website, which is mamaguru.com. But I think the cool piece from it is the people who are developing it. It's from Baobab Studios, which you probably don't know what that means. But the people behind Baobab Studios are the people behind Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Ants, just a bunch of movies like that. And then also their CEO was one of the founders of Farmville. She was VP at Zynga at the time.
RG's about to fucking bust a nut.
Did someone say Farmville? Because I was a massive farmer back in the day on Facebook. Just had to say that.
Yeah, so their team is pretty cool, and I had dinner with them in Miami, and it was pretty cool to hear all their stories, and especially from their creator, the person who thought of it. They've been pitching it since 2018 or something through a bunch of different film festivals, Sundance, Tribeca. They were talking about their journey of trying to pitch this thing. But yeah,
super cool. Yeah, man. So in terms of just what you have been accomplishing and where you see this space going, what do you really see something like of RPG. What genre of game do you really see that mostly successful here? In terms of, is it going to break out with FPS? Is it going to be RPGs? Is it going to be something that kind of lends itself more to blockchain tech? What are your thoughts?
For sure. I think it can really be anything. It can be like a little touch mobile game, as long as it's something that has integrated NFTs that you have no idea that you're actually using NFTs, and you have no idea that you're using a wallet, and you have no idea that it's crypto, something like that. But it can literally be anything. It could be like a storytelling game or some shooter, or it kind of possibilities are endless. It just has to be integrated well, and I don't think anybody's really found that solution yet to get millions and millions of people and daily active users who will come back and play this game because it's fun and not because, oh, it's Web3 and that's cool. They just want to play a fun game. And if you can own the assets and sell them back, then that's like an extra bonus. And I think once somebody figures that out, what I said earlier, if somebody figures out how to implement Web3 into a game, you're going to see everybody else go, oh, that's so smart, I'm going to do that too. So if that's even going back to Fortnite, Valorant, something like that, where you have people spending hundreds of dollars on skins a month and they're like, oh my God, I get to own them and I can actually sell them back and not be scammed. That's huge.
Game changer.
Huge. For sure.
I definitely see, if I'm not mistaken, the few games on like that most people in Web3 play, again, it's obviously going to be like, oh, what is it? Big Time, the first one. Number two would be like, is it Blancos or Blancos? So that's like a Fall Guys aspect of it. When you look at those games, like you said, the Valorant, the Fortnite, the Fall Guys, like these games are literally lined up for, like, they're low-hanging fruit because of the fact that it's just digital assets that people own in an account, and all, of course, they would have to do is just transition that over into the blockchain, NFTs, the whole nine. Now, Cryer, this is something that we always talk about on the video game side of it. If, let's say, a Fortnite, let's say a Warzone, Call of Duty, let's say any of these games want to be integrated on the blockchain, the whole nine, would they necessarily have to like build the game over just on Ethereum or Polygon or whatever the case may be? Or are you finding a way where these video games can somewhat integrate these NFTs into the video game that's already out, like now, that's on the Xbox, that's on the PlayStation, that's on the PC?
Yeah. In terms of what I can think, it would definitely be a very detailed, time-consuming thing to go back and like actually asset and digitize all of these created assets, especially from, take WoW, for example. Like, how many trillions of different items have been dropped over this entire time frame? Like, you really have to start with it from the beginning, or it's going to be just an absolute nightmare, I would say. But you definitely could. You really just have to.
My new AI can do it for me. That's what
Chat GPT can just fire one up. But but like realistically, I would say it's something along the lines of, would probably be more on the basis of a new game having to create it themselves, and really not on the side of going back and creating all these assets, would just be horribly, horribly inefficient and very hard to link where all they all are in their database systems. But it's definitely something that if you had a Fortnite, probably wouldn't be as difficult, because there's just a couple of, probably like 200, 300, like 1,000 skins or something like that. There's a bunch of different skins. But like, in terms of just every item that's dropped in every MMORPG ever, that's just not feasible.
It'd be of course, it'd be a lot harder to go ahead and do. But again, it's more the sense of like, we've played, what was the game that we played? It was a mobile game that has that integration of NFT. Like, it has NFTs. You're able to play it, and it's the characters themselves. I forgot. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. And it's more the sense of like, you go on your computer, you sign up to the account, your MetaMask, the whole nine. And then when you go to the phone, you just have to sign into that account that you got online. And that just gives you that
something
access.
Arena, Titan Arena or something. What wasn't it? Right.
I think it was something Arena. You're absolutely right.
It was like it was like the MOBA type style game.
Yeah.
It was.
So do you see it in the sense of an opportunity of linking accounts set on like a website on your phone, on a computer, and that's how they would then be able to verify these assets that were already previously on your account? Again, it's a super weird like way of viewing.
To answer your question, yes, but also no, that's too complicated, because optimal scenario is you log in and you have your thing and you don't have to do a million other steps.
You don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just another barrier of entry for
I'm sure whatever the solution is going to be something frictionless with no variables, but it's something nobody's thought of yet because it would already have been implemented.
Already been done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely agree with the Digidaidaku being pretty seems to be pretty pushing the envelope. They had an announcement today talking about a new royalty system for their like holders and stuff like that. Definitely, I feel like they're trying to, and again, like everything they've done so far has been like free NFTs, and definitely flipping everything that we've thought about NFTs. That the whole recipe to drop a 10K and blah blah blah. They came in and didn't do any of that type of shit, and it kind of flipped it on its head. So if there's going to be anybody, I think it's going to be something like them to push that envelope a little bit.
I agree for sure. That guy seems to know what he's doing, and they're trying to do that Super Bowl activation where people are minting from a QR code or something. I don't know. If it works, it'll be cool.
That's what we had this talked about recently. It's like if it works, it could go really well, but if it doesn't work, and they have just like I'm just seeing like thinking of 50,000 people just trying to scan a QR code.
50,000. Let's go.
I would say that's like people. That's how many people actually watch. I'm actually going to whip out their phone and try to scan it. I would say probably a lot less.
Do we have the numbers? Yeah, time will tell. But the numbers on the Coinbase side, remember, Coinbase literally died with just it was hundreds of thousands, if I'm not mistaken. So I could only imagine like this side, like everyone's now ready for a QR code to pop up, and they're like ready to go at the bring, like once it happens. So I don't know. And again, it just, for me at least, it would be the sense of if it actually works. Like if you go in and it doesn't load or it doesn't work, you're going to lose out so bad because of the fact that people are just gonna be like, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to keep drinking my beer and eating my wings. And hey, the halftime shows up. Let's keep on going there. So again, it's just hopefully they figure it out because that would be an awesome experience. Again, we talk about how like what Reddit did in the sense of like being able to onboard people so seamlessly, so easy. People have been on Reddit for so many years and without really knowing. Now let's look at it on this side. How exactly are they going to go ahead and do that? I know at Art Basel, I was able to mint the phase drop that they had there. And it was super easy. You just scanned it, boom, you made an account and you had it. You didn't have to connect the MetaMask. You didn't have to connect a Coinbase wallet. You didn't have to do any of that nonsense at the beginning. Maybe later down the road, if you want to grab that asset over to your stuff, there's that option. But if the option at the beginning is seamlessly easy, simple for a 90-year-old or a freaking 11-year-old, then we're talking. Then something could definitely happen on the sense of the Super Bowl. But let's just hope. Like I'm probably going to be drunk during the Super Bowl, so I'm probably going to miss out on the QR code when it comes up. So. We'll definitely see. The Patriots aren't making it, so I don't have to pay attention to the actual game or to the actual anything of it. But yeah, man, again, it's just super cool to see it. And you've been a part of, like you said, e-gaming and the gaming side of things and all this in the transition into Web3 as well. Is this the future? Is this what's going to happen?
I think yes, but it won't be how we have it now. I think I touched on it earlier, but it'll be some sort of kind of mode of using this sort of blockchain technology where you have no idea you're actually using it. So yes, it'll be used, but I don't think it'll be used to the point of little Timmy's, oh my God, I love the blockchain because I can own my Fortnite skins. So it'll be implemented, but not like a known thing is how I think it'll go, but we'll see.
No, again, It's just using it on specific things. Not everything has to be on the blockchain, just specific things in said games and whatnot. While Timmy doesn't know the blockchain, that I think maybe Jimmy, he'll be like, hey, listen, I love the blockchain. That's why I'm in here. But I definitely agree with you. Most of these people, when you look at, again, Reddit, Starbucks, what they're doing right now, all these different ways, it has to be like, it's like you're not using Web3, you're still in Web2, and that's the main factor. And hey, by the way, on the side of what Ledger's doing with the new hardware wallet that they just came out with, that's playing on that because of the fact that we've been using touchscreen phones for the last 10, 15, whatever years. If you can showcase that and allow regular Joe to go ahead and grab that, it's going to be a lot easier than grabbing the Ledger Now and the 2 buttons and the whole 9. Crier, you talk about this with Old Dog New Trick. Like I freaking hate this Ledger. It's the worst thing ever. But if you go into the aspect of something like an iPhone that he probably, or Google phone that he's been using for the last 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, a lot easier for people to be like, oh, this actually makes sense.
I think the thing with the Ledger thing too is it feels like they're taking out of Amazon's playbook what they did with the Kindle. Because what they first did with the Kindle is they came out with this black and white thing that like you could use, but it was junky. And then they were later like, oh, here's a thing that's like a tablet that's like full screen color HD, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the Fire
I think that's what Ledger's game plan is going for the next 3-5 years or whatever.
Will Ledger make a phone?
Yeah, but I don't think people will use it because, like, why do you need it? Well, it doesn't make sense that you need a wallet and a phone. I think they should be two separate things, but I think they'll make one.
Okay, I like that. How I look at it is, I barely use my wallet now because I can use everything on my phone, right? In some states in the United States now, you're able to scan your license and you just have it on your wallet and you're good to go. So when I look at what like Ledger as an opportunity, maybe Apple or Google says, hey, you know what? I want to buy you guys. But more the sense of, imagine a world where that Ledger phone is just like everything. You don't have to have your Ledger like Drake on.
Yeah, I can see them buying it, but I don't know if Ledger is big, like to catch up to an Apple or to a Google or to a Samsung. Ledger's like here, and they're like
not
on
even
the
on this,
like
not on the
street walk.
screen. Yeah, maybe on the other side of the world. Absolutely. No, but it's just super cool. But again, man, thank you so much for stopping by. We absolutely love just like leaning into the aspect of like gaming and the aspect of you personally just being a part of both sides of it, like truly embedded into it and just understanding what's happening right now. I do want to ask you one question though. We always ask this for nerds or former nerds. When you were growing up, imagine your favorite game that you played every single day, like I played RuneScape. What would be that one game if it was actually a blockchain game back in the day? You would be filthy rich right now with all the assets, the currency, everything. What was that one game for you? Like I said, for me, either Farmville. No, not Farmville. It was RuneScape, 100% for me.
I really liked Clash of Clans just because there was like progression. And it was actually kind of funny because when I joined Concept Art House, I was like looking through the files and I was like, I just found this trailer that I was like watching in middle school that they made, and I was like, wow, this just came full circle.
Full circle, baby. You're a part of what you did. Exactly. That's unbelievable. Clash of Clans, that's actually the first time someone said Clash of Clans, so that's a good thing. Cry, what was your game again? Was it Diablo?
Yeah, Diablo too.
100%, right? 100%.
Oh yeah, big time. No question.
Yeah, absolutely. But really quick, we always end the topic, or we always end the show with a little bit of just nerd talk, just like we did just now. And I would like to say, by the time you guys are listening this, the listeners, Avatar's out. Have either of you booked those tickets to go see Avatar?
That's no.
I haven't, but my dad actually helped work. My dad helped work on the first Avatar. But that's different.
Look at that. So. Look at that. This is full circle, baby. We're talking to the son of the guy that helped Avatar. And right now, while you're listening to this, you're literally probably driving to go see Avatar. Because again, if you're listening to this, you are a nerd. So you have to have had your tickets by now. But I actually will say this is the first time, Crier, I don't have my ticket. And I don't know when
I like never have pre-purchased like tickets like ever.
You're
like I just show up
a buffoon. Absolutely not.
Buy
so
the
I pre-order all my tickets because they sell out in 3 seconds because the biggest movie theater in frickin' Florida is the Orlando Drive one. So I got to go to that one. So it's just easier for me to buy it when it comes out. And sometimes I even miss it.
It's 6 months later and you're like, all right, I'll go see that movie now.
Yeah, no, I got to do it right away. The kids are strapped in, ready to go, muzzles on so they don't cry, ready to go. Actually, no muzzle. I'm so sorry. I could get canceled for that. But other than that, again, on my side at least, Crier, I've been playing Pokemon still. I'm crushing it. You know how last episode my name was a Silver Surfer deck master? I fucking suck now. So I went back to Wong on Marvel Snap, and I'm just crushing it. Like no one can stop me again. I got Invisible Woman. She is by far the best card in that game because no one knows what the hell's going on because they covers all the cards till the end of the game. Phenomenal stuff on that side. But I'm super just excited with everything going on with Pokemon because of the fact that I just keep catching shiny Pokemon. And for the last 14 years of my life, I've never caught one. And now in this game, I've caught 2. That's all I have to say. That is why I am the shiny hunter master. They did not up the odds. I just know what I'm doing now. This is the first time I know what I'm doing. But again, Mitchell, thank you so much for stopping by. Would love to have you on later on when you're doing more stuff. I wanted to learn more about this game because I heard Disney and Pixar. I heard a lot of stuff there, and I got to figure it out. Obviously, you can see behind me because I'm a big fan of it all. Again, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to be deep. You're going to see me in the Discord very soon. Again, always a pleasure to have you. And for all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Nerd FT Radio. We'll be back next week with more interesting news. And I still don't know how to close out the show on the 104th episode. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.